Okay. So let us start with a little icebreaker. I now know your names, and let's see if you can type in chat for me. Where are you from, and which country do you want to visit? Okay, from Philippines, we'd love to visit Japan. Oh, I just typed Japan as well. Very exciting. I think we have something in common, Alexa. All right. And let's hear from some of our others. Eliana, Hamza, perhaps you can share with me where you're from and which country do you want to visit? Eliana says from Nigeria, I'd like to visit Greece. Oh, Greece looks amazing as well. Name is Seima. I am from Turkey and would love to visit Korea. Ooh, yes. I agree with you. From Nigeria and love to visit South Korea. Okay, it sounds like we should do a trip to South Korea as well. That looks like a good plan. All right, lovely. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. And I want you to remember what country you told me about earlier, because I'm going to mention it again later. Let me see if I can have more of our wonderful participants join us. Okay, also love to visit France. Oh, that is a big dream of mine. I am hoping one day I get to visit France. Okay, so with that, let us get started with our first topic for today. So remember, for the next 2 webinars, we are going to be doing 2 topics each time. And today we are going to start on problem solving. So let's talk a bit about what problem solving is. Problem solving is a process that begins with understanding the problem and then taking steps to fix it. Now, the first thing I want you to notice in our definition is that we say this is a process. So we shouldn't think of problem solving as just being one small thing or one small part, because it is actually a lot of things working together to go from a problem to a solution. So let's understand how we can do this. There are 5 steps that we need to solve a problem. It starts with identifying the problem, gathering information, brainstorming a solution. Then we take that solution, we find the best one and we use it. And then afterwards, we analyze the solution. We look at it again. Okay, so let us start with understanding the problem. Okay, so sometimes understanding a problem can become a little bit difficult. This is because problems can have many layers to them. Because we are people, we are humans, we can have emotions, there can be other people involved, there can be a different side to the argument that maybe you didn't see yet. So it is important to understand exactly what the problem is before we get started. So I have a nice little quiz for you here. Okay, so Mia failed her science test. She says, I'm just bad at science. So now I ask you, what is the real problem? Is it A, Mia cannot learn science? B, Mia may not have studied in an effective way? C, the teacher dislikes Mia? Or D, science is too hard for everyone? Let's see. Okay, I see we understand this one. Let's try another one. Very good. The answer is B. Okay, now let's take a look at the next one. Alex argues with his friend almost every day through text messages. What is the most likely problem? Is it A, phones always cause problems? Is it B, Alex should stop having friends? C, the friends are not communicating in a healthy way? Or D, texting is always bad? Ooh, very good. I see the chat flooding with C's. Very good. The correct answer is C. Now, let's try one more. Jordan is often late to school because he wakes up late. What is the root problem? A, school starts too early. B, Jordan's sleep or morning routine is not working well. C, teachers are too strict about time. And D, mornings aren't possible for teenagers. Okay, so the answer is B. Very good, everyone. I see we have no problems understanding our problem. Okay, so that means we can move on to the next step. The next step we call gathering information. Now, this means trying to understand as much about our problem before we start trying to think about the solutions. Now, this step is going to become very, very important when we are talking about personal conflict. Does somebody want to tell me what is a personal conflict? You are welcome to unmute, or you can share with me in the chat. Okay, so personal conflict is going to be, is a conflict that happens within oneself. Okay, that is a good one, yes. So when we have a conflict, this can be with a problem, with people, or even within ourselves. And then difficult decisions. Okay, can someone give me an example? What is a difficult decision? Something that we have to choose for ourselves. Choosing whether to read or not. Didn't get the question. Okay, difficult to choose between two colleges to enter. That is a good one. Yes, any difficult decision, especially when we start thinking about the future, between a party with friends or a family activity, that can be a very difficult one sometimes. Especially when we think about what we want to do, what we feel like our responsibility is. Yes. Something like choosing our job in the future. I didn't even introduce myself. I am now living in Kazakhstan, and I had to choose which country I want to live in. And that was a very big decision to have to make. What to become in the future. I think that's one of the biggest decisions we have to make. And I think you all obviously still making this decision. Okay, very good. So this step can involve something like researching it, Googling it, ChatGPTing it, reading about it, or it can be about talking to other people. Now, when we are having an argument with our friend, this would be when we were going to go to our friend and ask, why are you unhappy? What happened? So remember that this is not only going to be about research on the computer, it's also going to be through conversation and communication. Okay, so it is important to take time to get as much information as you can as possible. This phase is going to make sure that when we think of solutions, our solutions really cover the full problem. And that is why we need to understand this part very, very well. Okay, so now I have a nice little quiz for you guys again. In column A, I've put 5 problems. And in column B, I've given you 5 people or 5 sources of information that you can talk to or read about or research. And this will tell you who to ask when we have a problem. So let's start with number 1. You are failing math tests. Who do you think we should talk to about this? A counselor, trusted adult or stress journal, the phone company, repair shop or tech support, a teacher or tutor, a planning calendar or your study habits, or a meeting or group discussion with teammates. Okay, very good. I see we have C. All right, what about number 2? Your phone suddenly stops working. Okay, very nice. My goodness, you guys are smart. Okay. What about number 3? You keep missing homework deadlines. Okay, see this one is a little bit slower. But are we saying D? Very good. Your planner, calendar, and study habits. Okay. You are feeling very stressed and overwhelmed every day. Number 4. Oh, very nice. And then the last one, your group project members are confused about their tasks. Lovely. Oh, beautiful. Okay, 5 out of 5 for all of you. But I did put the answers here for you guys as well so that you can check those out again later. Very nice. Okay, so that brings us to number 3, which means brainstorming solutions. Now, the brainstorming stage is kind of a difficult stage because here we need to start understanding what different options do we have to solve our problem. Now, this stage can become very, very tricky because sometimes the easiest and the simplest solution is just not possible. So we need to try and think as creatively as possible to come up with a wide variety of solutions for each problem. And it's also important to remember that even if you have a problem today and you have that problem again tomorrow, the same solution that fixed it today might not fix it tomorrow. So we need to be sure to always think about a unique solution to our problem. Okay, so I have given you a problem. Let's brainstorm in the chat. You can give me as many answers as you like. You can think as creatively as you like. What do we do if we are always tired at school? Okay, try to get enough sleep. Fixing your sleep schedule. Lessen your extracurricular activities. That is an important one. Create a proper schedule. Yes, see, we like the idea of a good schedule. Do we have any other ideas? Remember, you're also welcome to unmute if you want to just chat with me. Sleeping early in the night, that's a good one. Proper time management, very good. Another soft skill, so I like to see that. Drinking water, that's an interesting one. Do you want to explain to me how drinking water might help? Because I think it's a good solution, but perhaps you can tell us why. Going to the doctor, yes. Especially if you've tried a lot of other things and you've noticed that this one, doesn't seem to be solving. Yes, absolutely. I hope I'm saying your name right. Is it Nukta? Especially with something like drinking water, it can sometimes help wake us up and get our mind ready. Because sometimes when we are tired, it's not because we didn't get enough sleep. It's just that we're not waking up fast enough. So yes, I think that is a very lovely solution. Yes, and you'll be calm. Good. All right. Okay, I like these solutions. Now, that brings us over to our best solution. Now, I've already mentioned to you that when it comes to the best solution, what works today might not work tomorrow. And then we also need to understand what kind of solution are we looking for? Because with some solutions can be very quick, and this can be a very good thing. But they might not be something we can do again next time. It might not be the best solution if we have more time to solve a problem. The other thing is cost. Some solutions are more expensive than others. For example, if we said in our previous example that we should buy an alarm clock, that we should try and get to school quicker, these are solutions that can be a bit more expensive. So we need to always try and think of a solution if we have money to spend and if we don't. And then ease of implementation. I think that if I was feeling tired at school every day, if I can invent a magic pill that I can drink and feel more awake, it would be very, very easy. But that's not something that I can do easily. So we also need to think about the possibility of this. Is this something I can do? Now, the other thing is that when we choose a solution, we have to think about the people around us, because we don't want our fixing our problem to make a new problem for someone else. So, for example, if we think a little bit about a common problem, if we maybe forget to prepare snacks for school, I think the easiest solution is going to our parents and saying, I forgot to prepare snacks. And this way, our parents will probably try and fix that for us. But this would make a new problem for them. So we need to be very cautious when we have a problem to try and fix it ourselves, or choose a solution that is not going to make others' lives more difficult. Okay. So I have taken some solutions to our always tired at school, and I've given you here a nice list of possible solutions. And let's discuss them. Tell me a bit why you think your solution is the best solution. Let me start asking you guys a little bit. Alexa, do you want to tell me which solution you think is the best solution?
Well, I think the best solution is improve time management so tasks finish earlier. Because considering the context that they are tired at school, that implies somehow that the reason that they're tired is because of schoolworks or activities. So improving their time management there in school will help them to rest earlier once they get home.
Okay, I think that is definitely a good one. And again, I like the soft skill approach. That's always interesting to me. Okay, Eliana, what do you think is the best solution?
I also think improving time management, so tasks finish earlier is the best, because when you improve your time management, you can be able to do other things. You'll be able to sleep earlier and then spend less time on your phone, because your time on your phone is regulated. It's still part of time management. And then you can be able to plan yourself to eat breakfast in the morning, exercise, and to categorize all your activities to their different times. So I feel is improving time management that is the ultimate or the umbrella for all of them.
Okay, that is a very, very good idea. And a very good argument, yes. So I like the solution as well. Let's hear from someone else. Samuel, do you want to share with us?
Yes, I think the best solution would be to spend less time on your phone at night, because when you spend too much time on your phone, you get to strain yourself, which doesn't really help your sleep. So if you spend less time on your phone, you could sleep better for school the next day.
Okay, I like that one quite a lot. Maybe Amar, can you share with us the last one?
I think the best one is to go to sleep earlier, because it helps your time and you get enough rest for the next day tomorrow and studying.
Okay, yes. Getting enough rest is going to absolutely solve our problem. Now, any one of these solutions, thank you very much for all of you for sharing. Any one of these solutions can solve this problem. They're all good ideas. And so any answer you've given me, I can't say that's incorrect or that's not the best one. They're all great solutions. What is going to be the best one depends on why we are tired. For me personally, if I look at this list, I might think maybe something like managing my stress better. Because a lot of the time I don't go to sleep because I'm at night thinking about my day, about my plans for the next day. And this can sometimes be just from being a little bit more stressed. Then also, I don't always eat breakfast in the mornings. And that gives me very low energy first thing in the morning. So that could be my solution. But your solution to this problem is going to depend. So if you think that time management, a good schedule, that's going to help you, if you notice that maybe you're spending too much time on your phone at night, or you've had this problem and you solved it in this way, those will automatically be more attractive to you. So remember, this is especially important when we are giving advice, when someone comes to us with their problems, that we need to think about everything that they have to share with us first, before we just give our solution to them, because it's not always going to work very well. Okay. All right. Now, once we have chosen our solution, we take the solution, we implement it, and then the most important step is to see if it worked. A lot of the times, solutions to our problems might look very simple. Something like going to sleep earlier. It sounds very simple in our minds. But then if I want to get into a bit of the science of circadian rhythms, sleeping patterns, this is where it can immediately become a lot more tricky to implement a solution, because our bodies won't just naturally start going to bed earlier if we are used to sleeping at a certain time. So this can make it a bit trickier. If I think of something about not using my phone at night, that can be difficult. A lot of the time, something like cell phone usage is such a habit. I spent, when was it? About a month ago, I did a challenge with my class to see if we could, whoever had the least screen time, and I gave them an award. And I remember, out of habit, I would pick my phone up and want to start texting. And then I remembered, oh, I'm doing the challenge, I shouldn't be on my phone. And it took so much time reminding myself I shouldn't be on my phone. So this was something that really taught me that it's not as simple as just stop doing it. Sometimes we have to be a bit more cautious about this. Okay, so generally, a lot of the solutions that we pick, especially when we're a bit younger, are not the best solutions. This can sometimes mean that we didn't gather enough information in the beginning. This can also be because our problem is more complex than even we realized. This can be because this problem keeps occurring. There are many reasons, to be very honest, why solving a problem is not a simple thing. And especially if this problem has to do with other people or our own emotional conflicts. When I was about 16 years old, I started thinking I need to choose a job. And it was very, very urgent in my mind that I need to choose a job. And I ended up choosing to become a lawyer. So when I was 18, I went to school and I started studying to be a lawyer. And now I'm an English teacher. Because at the time, I didn't realize that I wouldn't like being a lawyer very much. It wasn't suited to my personality, even though I was very interested in it. And now it is something I read of as a hobby while doing something I really love. Teaching English was not a solution that I saw possible at the time. So this is one of those decisions I had to think about later and go, okay, this was the right solution for the time, but I'm changed, I'm older. So that is why it is important to take a moment to think back to how we solve problems. This will make us better at solving them next time we need to make a big decision. And also make us sort of see solutions a little bit quicker because we already have a bit of a list in our mind. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Eliana, I didn't see your answer earlier, but you are absolutely right. So I think you and Eliana had a very right thinking there with this could solve all the problems, because that's true, it can. Of course, unless it's a medical problem. All right. So now I want to talk a bit about personal conflict between people. So sometimes these steps look a little bit different. The moment we are dealing with other people, a fight with a friend, a disagreement with our parents, this is a lot more tricky because we don't always have the ability to follow the same steps because we are dependent on the other person sharing information with us, running through the steps with us. And that's not always possible. So I've given you 7 pieces of advice for when you are facing a problem that might help a bit more in the moment. The first one, and this you might remember a bit from emotional regulation, is to pause before reacting. Remember, we cannot take back the things that we say, so we have to be very cautious about what we say and when. Number 2, we need to understand what emotion we are feeling and what emotion our friends are feeling, or the other person in our conflict. It is very, very difficult to figure out why a problem exists without understanding those emotions. Oftentimes, people react out of sadness or anger. I have a dear friend of mine who one day became very, very angry at me. And I didn't understand why. And I kept thinking about it, and I thought, I don't understand how this made her angry. And I went to her later and I realized that when she gets sad, she doesn't want to be sad in front of people, so she gets angry instead. And that was how she processed emotions. And I knew this about her and I just couldn't think about it at the time. So understanding her emotion and my emotion was very important. Okay. Number 3, we need to separate feeling from fact. Taking away our personal emotions on the subject, we need to think what is actually happening in the background. I like to think of this as, imagine it's not your problem, it's someone else's problem, and they're telling this to you. Because then we sometimes are able to think a little bit more clearly about what exactly it is that's on the table. Okay, extreme thinking. What is extreme thinking? So, extreme thinking has to do with when we make the problem a little bit bigger than it has to be. When we start using words like always and never, those are the ones that tell us it's getting a bit extreme. She always does this. I'm never going to speak to her again. We can never be friends again. She always makes me angry. Those kinds of words are not actually helping us to solve the problem. It's just making it more, and we're adding more and more and more fuel to this fire that we are not thinking critically, but rather very emotionally about this. Okay. One of the things that you can do for yourself and for the person you are arguing with is think about what would help immediately. Sometimes the argument that you're having can be very, very separate from something. Maybe you just want to spend more time together. Maybe you want to be doing a nice activity together. Maybe the other person needs space. Maybe you need space. Think about those things first. Think about those skills we spoke about with emotional regulation and use those instead to guide you on your next best steps. Okay, then talk to someone trustworthy. Now, the best thing you can do when you are arguing with an adult, this can maybe be your parents or your teacher, go talk to another adult, because adults understand adults. So make sure you're talking to someone around about that same area of life. Then, when it comes to fighting with one of your friends, talk to maybe your parents, your teacher, anyone who might understand the person and the situation a little bit better. And lastly, focus on the things you can control. Unfortunately, we cannot change a person's mind. This is something that everyone has to do for themselves. No matter how many solutions you offer or how many amazing suggestions you might have, we can't guarantee that a person is going to change their mind. What we can control is our ability to, our reaction, how we feel about it, and how we handle it. That is within our ability. So focus when it comes to a personal conflict, what can I do, instead of what you think they should do. Okay. So, when it comes to turning mistakes into solutions, the next time you make a big mistake or have a big problem, try to think of a good solution to the problem. This is especially important when we are trying to improve our communication. Now, I made a bit of a mistake And I got a little bit nervous because I thought, oh, I have to tell the person I made a mistake. And so I first started thinking, how am I going to fix this? And this was something that absolutely changed the conversation we were having. Because when I said to them and I said, I made this mistake, here are 3 ideas I have to fix it. Which one do you think is best? We weren't talking about my mistake anymore. We were communicating on how to fix this problem. So this can be a good way to improve your communication, especially with your parents. Parents love solutions. They really do. So even if you make a big mistake, that happens. Explain to your parents what you plan to do to make it better. And this is going to make that conversation a lot easier to have. Now, remember that this effort that we are showing is something that can absolutely make it easier for us later to get that forgiveness from people. Okay, so before we move over to adaptability, I'd love to hear from you guys. What are some problems that you've had? How did you fix it? Is there a problem you're having now? You are welcome. If you'd like to chat with me, you are welcome to use the hand raise feature. I'm sure most of you know how to do that, but you will see it should just be under your reactions tab. You can also, you're welcome to type in the chat if you have any questions about problem solving. Eliana, please, I'd love to hear from you.
So a problem I'm facing right now is procrastination and time management. Sometimes when I want, especially when it comes to studying, sometimes when I want to study, I'll be distracted by either my phone or something else around me. So it's really hard. Sometimes I actually study, but it's really hard because I have exams coming up very soon and it's taking a toll on me, but I'm trying hard to overcome it.
So procrastination is kind of a unique problem because this is something that deals with our motivation. And it's one of these skills, kind of like when you go to the gym, where it's something that we have to practice slowly by slowly, and every time it becomes better and better, like concentration as well. So there are a few things that you can do, like locking yourself out of your phone. There's like apps that you can use for this. But one thing that I do with myself is I basically use whatever I need to do, whether this be work or studying, as a way to earn points to spend time on my phone. So normally I do this in like a 1-to-2 ratio. If I spend 1 minute studying, I can have 30 seconds on my phone. If I spend 10 minutes studying, I can have 5 minutes on my phone. And every time you see, okay, you're doing this successfully, you can make it even more and more. So maybe 10 minutes gives you 3 and a bit minutes on your phone. Use this as sort of a way to trick yourself into studying for smaller periods and a little bit longer. One of the other things that I quite like doing myself when I don't feel very motivated is that I like creating task variety. So, for example, if I need to study 3 subjects, let's say math, history, and geography, I will do 5 minutes of history, 5 minutes of math, 5 minutes of geography, and then keep switching it up. In some small way, this tricks our brain into being a little bit more focused so that we are able to stay concentrated for longer, because it doesn't actually ever become boring for us because we have to keep changing it. And this can work in 5 minutes and 10 minute stints as well. So that would be my suggestion to you. Procrastination is one of those things that it's something you grow within yourself. And so you need to be very patient when you're trying to unlearn it. Give yourself a starting point and force yourself to stick with that, just adding a few more minutes every time. And the closer and closer you get to your exams, you'll notice the more time you are able to dedicate to this.
Thank you.
I hope that helps. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share? Does creativity play a role in problem solving? Absolutely it does. The best solutions are always creative. Now, this is not something that you might see like now immediately with your immediate problems, But my favorite colleagues are always the people who are able to solve problems creatively. It's an amazing talent to have. So absolutely, creativity does play a role. And this allows your mind to be more open to thinking of more and more solutions. So even if your solution might sound a bit crazy or a bit silly, like my doing 5 minutes of each task solution, that was my creative way to make it easier for myself. So yes, absolutely use your creativity. Very, very welcome, Sunny. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. And the next one is a bit of a big fish in and of itself. That is adaptability. Okay, now adaptability is something that goes hand in hand with problem solving, because the way and emotional regulation as well, because the way we solve problems of adaptability is going to be using problem solving and emotional regulation. So that is why this is the third topic I've chosen for you guys, because they connect so lovingly. So what exactly is adaptability? Adaptability is the ability to change when our plans change. This can mean our environment changing, this can mean our schedule changing, this can mean us changing. And the ability to change with that is going to be a high level of adaptability. So, I want to start by playing another game with you guys. The first thing I want you to do, you're going to type in the chat. You don't have to send me your answer until we're done. Okay. The first thing I want you to do is write your name. You can type for me in the chat. You're welcome to send it so long as well. Just write your own name. Okay. Very nice. Okay, is that enough? No, I think we should add one more step. Let's write our name backwards. Alright. Now, what about if we take away vowels, meaning no A, E, I, O, U? Still backwards? Still backwards? Very good. Okay. Oh, a lot of you don't have much name left. Okay. What if we put that in capital letters? Okay. What if I take away all spaces? So if you still have spaces between your letters, don't think many of you do. Okay. What if we add punctuation? So you can add any point, exclamation point, period, a comma. Good. Good. Okay. And the last one, why don't we add a nice emoji? Good. Okay. Oh, I like the emoji choices. Very nice. Okay. So this is what my name is going to look like now. And as you can see, with each step, I asked you to change and change and change and change. I could have told you from the beginning, write the consonants of your name in capital letters with exclamation points and an emoji, and you would have got there in the same way. And this is something that can get a bit irritating. It can get a bit annoying when we keep having the instructions change again and again and again. In fact, I don't know if you guys know the game Password. There's a computer game called Password that's a bit like this. And it's a little bit annoying, but if you're good at it, you will be a very adaptable person. Now, adjusting to change without getting angry, without getting frustrated, is what adaptability is all about. Again, we are human, we have our emotions, But it's important to be able to look at change sometimes as a very good thing and a very positive thing for us and for our growth. Okay, so can you think of a time when you got upset because of a change in plans? Again, you are welcome to raise your hand if you want to share with me or type in chat. Again, no judgment. It happens to all of us. I will tell you my story as well. Okay, Amar, you're welcome to type in chat. Anybody else would like to share with me in the meanwhile? I'd love to hear from you guys. Okay, Elia, please.
I was in a camp when the instructor told us, my class, to go to our dorms. As we went to our dorms, other instructors came in and was yelling at us that we should go back to class, that we are not supposed to be in class. And we ended up getting punished, so all of us were angry that the information wasn't accurate, and they punished us for no good reason.
That is one that would make me angry as well. Especially, I don't like being punished if something is not my fault. So I do understand that. Yes, a very good example. Does anyone else have one they want to share? I was supposed to go for day school, but I went to boarding and I really didn't like it. I didn't perform it, but I decided to adapt and accept my parents' choice and started performing better. That is one of those big changes that can happen. And I think it's important to learn adaptability in this instance, because it can oftentimes be much better. I also ended up going to boarding school, and for the first few months, I hated it. I thought it was horrible, but it was a far better school than my day school. And so I ended up being rewarded with very good education. Yeah, that's exactly it. Some of my best friends are still from boarding school. So I think it is a really nice thing sometimes. But in the beginning, it can be a big adjustment. So that is very normal. Okay. So moving on from there, I've given you here some ways we can try and be more adaptable. So we want to get comfortable with small changes. Small changes teach us how to be better with big changes. And this could be key to developing better adaptability. Then, again, remember our emotional regulation. We need to always pause before reacting. Number 3 is, and this is more about reframing the way we think. Instead of asking, why did this happen? Ask, what can I do now? This is part of our problem-solving steps as well. We don't need to spend too much time thinking about the emotional side of it, understanding this part that made us upset. It is more focused to think, okay, I need to fix this problem. Okay. Then another thing you can do is take on little challenges that switch between tasks or rules quickly. The moment we have to deal with this running back and forth and dealing with this consistent change, it trains our brain to adjust faster to what is happening around us, even if it can be a bit frustrating at first. Okay, now number 5. Oh, this one is one that took me years to learn. So if you can learn that today and use it, that is going to be key. Listening to feedback without defending yourself. In my first job, I remember I had a manager, and I would not say that a lot of the things the manager was talking to about was my fault. Some of it definitely was, some of it was not. But he would always say to me, don't answer me yet, let me talk. And this can be something that can help us understand exactly what went wrong a lot quicker or a lot easier. If we take a moment to listen, if the problem is our mistake, if it's something that happened that is our fault, we can understand exactly why the person perhaps misunderstood. And in turn, if the problem is not our fault, if the problem is our fault, we can take this to understand how to improve and better ourselves. So it is important to let the person who is giving us feedback finish speaking, and you can still choose if you agree or disagree with the feedback. But listen to it, because it's going to be very, very key for our own personal growth. We have to be able to accept feedback. Okay. Mistakes are natural. Mistakes are human. And unfortunately, it is impossible to be perfect at everything we do. I have what we call beginner's luck, where the first time I do something, it goes very well, and the second time is absolutely horrible. So I look at those mistakes and I try and improve with them. Then, for number 7, focus on solutions and not just the problem. This is, again, that problem-solving steps. And then, one part that I didn't show you about problem solving is that if you get to a solution that doesn't work, try a different solution. Try 10. There is nothing wrong with continuously trying to solve a problem until you find a solution that works for you. It doesn't need to be perfect every time. Okay. So, now let us take a look at a nice example. How can we be more adaptable? Okay. You have been looking forward to a weekend trip with your friends for a long time. You planned everything carefully, where you will go, what you will eat, what you will do. And on the morning of the trip, you receive a message, the original plan is cancelled. Okay. That's too much. Okay. Too much planning or too much to cancel it? Can improvise. Okay, I like this plan. Improvise. So what does that mean to you, Amar? And for everyone else, I'd love to hear your ideas. What do you do in this case? You are welcome again to raise your hand, to unmute, to type. Okay. All right. I like that you're already thinking about, okay, what's the new plan? And perhaps, Samuel, we can even make a new plan. Okay, Alexa, a good solution would be to look for nearby sites, areas to eat, so that not affect the travel commute. So that we can try better to salvage what you can rather than get rid of everything. I love that thinking. Yes, you already have planned some things. Not all of that has to go out of the window. You can keep some of it. Okay, add some room for more activities because you don't have the original plan. Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not the best person at being spontaneous. But it can be some of the best holidays I've had was because of a change in plans. Sometimes you find even better or more exciting things than what you originally planned to do. So yes, that can be a very, very good thing. Try to schedule while already keeping what you planned intact. That is also a very good solution. If you already have put a lot of time and effort into plans, especially if you're with a nice big group, sometimes postponing it and keeping those plans can be a better way. Again, that goes with that salvaging what you can thinking. Sounds good to me. Weird. Yeah, there you go. There's that spontaneousness coming through. Why not? You know, especially with something fun, it does not always have to be planned. Unfortunately, that is not my strong suit. But I do think that being able to be spontaneous and adaptable is absolutely the best thing. Very good. Okay, awesome. Thank you everyone so much for sharing. So, why is adaptability important? I have admitted to you guys now, this is not my strongest skill. And this is where it becomes a problem. It helps you deal with unexpected change. Now, one of the things when plans change, the first emotion I sometimes get is stress. Or maybe even a bit angry, a bit overwhelmed. And it can sometimes be a very negative experience for no reason. And so this is one of the things that I try and spend time on to stay focused and to keep pushing through with what I wanted to do and trying to adjust to whatever this change was. Then it can improve our problem solving. When we are adaptable, this means that we change with whatever happens. So that means that our solutions will also change to whatever problem we are facing. Okay, reduces stress. It helps you work better with others. It is always easier to work with people who are adaptable because especially when we are doing teamwork, this can be at school and one day at work. When we work in a team, that collaboration relies on us not all following our own mind, but working together to come to a solution. And sometimes what you think in your mind and what someone else thinks in their mind does not look like the same thing on paper. So it is important to be very cautious of being too focused on one particular path. And that is why adaptability prepares you for real life. Earlier today, when we started this class, I asked you the question what countries you want to go to. And when we want to travel to a different country, it is something that we need to learn to be adaptable. Because quickly, when you spend more time in a foreign country, you quickly realize that the way you do things at home and the way things are done in another country is not the same. I remember when I came here to Kazakhstan, something as simple as going to a grocery store had so many small things that were different about it that I realized that my experience is going to be completely different this time around. And it took me a minute, but now it's okay. So when you are traveling, especially, adaptability is going to be the most important thing. So if you imagine yourself as a person who's going to live in a foreign country one day, or a person who's going to travel a lot one day, this is one of those skills I would especially have you focus on. Okay, so that is going to be it from me for today. I would love to hear any of the questions you might have or any final thoughts you would like to share before we log off for today. Just a quick reminder, next week we are finishing up with resilience and work ethic. And I believe it was Elio asked me about procrastination. We'll be discussing that a bit with work ethic. So this will be a good one for you to join as well. Okay, so does anyone have any final questions before we finish up for the day?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Do you think that it's every change that we should adapt to, or there are some that we actually need to speak up against?
That is a very important question. Now, this is where we start talking about what kind of changes are actually worth adapting to. And this is where we're starting to need to think how many people are being affected by this. Now, one of the things, especially when even at a governmental level, when they choose to change policies in a country, they have to be very cautious of how this is affecting people. Is it negatively affecting only a specific group of people? And when we start reaching these changes, that we start to realize that it is hurting one group in favor of another at school, in the world, that is sometimes where being adaptable is not necessary. So I will say there definitely are examples where we don't have to be adaptable. But if it is something that is only affecting you, it is something that you are having to deal with, that was just a simple change of plans, that can be adaptability. If it is something that is hurtful, damaging, it affects you personally in a way that we don't want it to, those are things that we never adapt to. So there are definitely instances where we don't. Yes, Alexa.
Hello. Well, regarding trying more than one solution, what would be a good strategy when you're on a time crunch, when you can't really choose, you don't really have the chance to try more solutions?
One of the things that is suggested is to consider your solutions in a group instead of thinking them as individual. So if you notice that some of your solutions are connected, choosing from a specific group that allows you to change them. For example, in our sleeping example, something like managing your time, going to sleep earlier, waking up a little bit later, those would be in the same collection. So you would just keep changing within that particular area. But this is something that really is going to depend on the problem before you. One of the other things is that we can also need to learn sometimes is that to just accept the consequences of not fixing the problem. And this can also be key to our growth. So if you are on a time crunch, take some time to analyze the problem. Don't skip that step. That is still going to be absolutely vital to understanding your problem. Go through the steps, choose the best one that you think, see if you can group another solution with it. That might be a quick plan B or C option. And if you see that you don't have enough time to implement it, see if you can mitigate the consequences. What we mean by that is, can you make the bad thing that will happen if you don't do it somehow a little bit better for yourself?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Okay. How can we be adaptable when plans suddenly change over and over? Like, your friends know they won't be angry when they just keep on moving all the events. Okay. Yes, I think this is something that can be especially problematic when we are already a very adaptable person. I remember when I was a little bit younger, I was working in a doctor's office, and my doctor always said, "Oh, these people, they're so adaptable, just move them." And I always thought, "Oh no, these people are being so adaptable. Why do we want to, move the people that are nice?" So with something like this, it is important to communicate your feelings and say, okay, you really want to make a plan. So let us choose something together. Let's find a final solution. Speak up to your friends when you're facing this, because this can be something that can cause you sadness and anger and all these unhappy feelings without them even knowing it, because they're assuming you are adaptable, which you probably are if they keep changing plans. But everything has their limits. And one of the things that you can do to try and solve this is by proposing a solution and sticking with it yourself if you notice that other people are unable to make up their minds. Okay, let me just see if there's anything else I missed. All right, if there are no more questions, I thank you all very much for taking the time to join us today. I wish you a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next time. For all of you who joined us for the first time today, remember that you need to attend 2 sessions to be eligible for a certificate. So please join us next time as well. Brilliant. Okay. You are so welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful weekend. Goodbye.